Hey everybody, welcome back to the Balanced Vibes podcast. I am your host Kirsten, and as always, super grateful that you are here. So today's podcast is going to be about stress, but I can tell you already now, it's going to be a little bit all over the place because this is how I'm feeling right now, to be completely honest with you, and I'm owning it. So one of the things when you feel like you're stressed out, you're tired, one of the things to do is to normalize it. Something's going on in your life. You feel that way, and that's okay. You don't have to push yourself all the time to do all the things in the world. I think as women, a lot of times we push ourselves so hard because we think everything needs to be so perfect. We have to be responsible for everything and everybody, and we just are giving ourselves super hard time. So if you feel like you're stressed out right now, be stressed out. That's okay to be stressed out. I even didn't clean up my background. If you're watching the video, yes, here's my living room, there's my kitchen, stuff is all over the place, and that's totally cool because you gotta give yourself some time and rest and recover. So I just finished, I just wrapped up my lunch. As you know, I did the rebuild mentorship, and I signed 5 wonderful women into this group. I did get over 6 times more applications that actually ended up being a good fit for this program. So it was a little bit over 30 applications that I got, but so many people did not qualify because of one reason or another. And like I said multiple times, I really wanted this group of people to be a wonderful group of people who are pretty much in a similar place, who all have recovered from HA and are now ready to take the next step and start introducing a little bit of exercise, thinking a little bit more about food in terms of healthier foods, and just, also making sure they don't go back to old habits. So I wanted to get together this group of women, and it turned out wonderful. We had our first call today. We went like 1 hour, almost 45 minutes, and it was great. It was literally like everything that I imagined and better. All the girls are really sweet, all very positive. And I think it's going to be such a great time. I'm already looking forward to our next call. But leading up to that time, so I don't know if you are an online business owner or not, but actually doesn't matter. You have different stressors. But I got to say, leading up to a big event like that, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time online, talking to people, getting on the call. So what you see actually online, if you follow me here or on Instagram, you see my life, day life more, but even there, you don't even see the fraction of what's actually happening behind the scenes. All the calls you get on with people and all the videos you make and all the posts that you make. And it really is a lot of work. And this is not to say to, complain about it or to whine about it, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm doing this because I really love it. I'm really happy how it turned out, but also it is depleting. It is tiring. And, you may be in a different situation where you have your different things, you have your different deadlines, you have other things that you have to take care of, and you get stressed out. And I want to give you this permission, and I give myself the same permission to be relaxed and be just like okay, and kind of pull back a little bit after this big thing is over, so you have a little bit time to breathe. Now, I want to say that we have to be really careful about how stressed out we get, and we have to catch it before things get worse. And this is especially important for those of us who tend to be more sensitive. Sensitive in a way that we take stress seriously. We just, somebody says something and we're like, oh, we sometimes take it like it was like a personal attack, although it really wasn't. Or we tend to over worry, or we tend to think that, there's something between the lines that we read. And then we just take stress much more seriously. So a lot of it can come from childhood. And that's one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today. It has been shown time after time in science, in studies, that women who have had traumatic experiences in their childhood tend to be more prone to stress. And not only stress, everybody has stress, but it comes down to like how you respond to it. And so now those women who have had serious trauma in the childhood, serious stress, serious difficulties, even if it's one or two things, but they're big things. I'm not talking about only like losing a basketball game or something like that, but like something bigger. then they tend to be more reactive, and they tend to take stress very seriously, and excuse me, it impacts them more. So for example, if you've had things like parents divorce, which was by the way, that was me, and it was a very traumatic divorce. Maybe you've had like some kind of abuse, emotional, mental, physical abuse, sexual abuse. All these things actually make us more vulnerable. And also we react to stress, we're more sensitive. So actually it's been shown that because we have had this experience in the past, now when we get stressed out, then our bodies respond quicker, and they respond in a more dramatic ways versus or compared to those who never had these adverse experiences when they were little kids. So it's almost like our nervous system is a little bit more alert all the time. And now when something more intense happens in your life, then your body responds like 3 times as intensely as somebody else's body who didn't go through anything like that as a child. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on. One of the books that, if you are interested in this topic, to read is this. It is called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And I think it's a really, really amazing book. I haven't quite finished it. I still have a little bit to go. But basically, it talks about childhood experiences and how stress can really impact us. Really, really amazing studies in this book, and I really highly recommend to read it. The other thing when it comes to stress, and when I just started my podcast, I interviewed my pain coach. So I developed chronic back pain, which I still have occasionally, but I also developed pain in my arm in the beginning of this year or end of last year, tingling and kind of numb sensation in my foot, in my leg, in my ovaries. And I was like, what is that about? So if you didn't check out this podcast, go check it out. I believe it was episode 14 with Christina Way. I'm going to post that in the show description too. But basically, it's the same thing. So these things can actually happen when we are really, really stressed out. And this is our body's defense mechanism. So we can be mentally and emotionally stressed out, and our physical body responds to it. So as soon as I figured that out with the help from my health coach, I started working on it early this year. And my arm pain, my foot pain, my numbness and tingling in my left foot completely went away. And my lower abdominals, kind of like the ovary area, the pain there, the tension or the pressure there completely went away too. I do have a little bit of back pain, but I can tell that it intensifies when the life stress gets big. And this is where I know that, okay, I have to look into it. What is the thing that is stressing me out right now? And also this type of stress, it comes a lot of times from having adverse childhood experiences. And like I said, yes, my parents went through a divorce. There's like a couple of other things that I don't want to share here, but it was a very traumatic experience. And if you have these experiences between the ages or like before the age of 5, this is where they are extremely impactful, and they do impact you. So there are, of course, things that you can do in order to kind of feel better and not let that stress that happens later in your life to, you can heal these things, but you have to be super, super aware, because if you don't pay attention to any of these things, then it's going to mess with your health. And this is how we develop chronic pain. For example, I developed chronic pain as well. Also, irregularities in your menstrual cycle, very common, by the way. Hormonal issues, very common in women who have had like stressful or even like traumatic experiences when they were little. These things are common. And that's why we have to know how to manage our stressful life so that things don't get to the point where our hormones start going crazy again, or we start developing chronic pain. And actually you can use these things as signs or like markers. Hey, okay, like my periods went crazy again. Okay, that can be like physical reason for it. Maybe you were not eating enough, maybe you were over exercising, but it can also be because you were really stressed out mentally, emotionally. The world right now is crazy. If you're watching the news all the time, if you're taking in all the negativity, this is likely going to impact you, and it's going to impact more those of us who've had difficult childhood experiences. Okay, and then same thing like I mentioned with the back pain too. I had that and I still have it sometimes, but it's nowhere as bad as it used to be in the past. End of this year or the entire 2019, actually 18 too, I was not able to really lift heavy stuff because my back was so tight. And now earlier this year, I figured out with my health coach, Christina Way, that this is truly an emotional thing. There's nothing physically wrong with my body. And when I figured that out, things started getting so much better. And you've seen me probably on Instagram, you've seen me talk here. I am lifting heavy weights, like heavier than I've lifted in several years, because my back allows me to now as well. And then also because, my cycles are pretty good. But if the stress gets crazy, then my back gets worse automatically, and I start seeing more fluctuations in my cycle as well. So now what can you do about it? What can you do when stress really impacts you? So first thing you can do is to start letting go of some of the things that you think you absolutely have to do. And typically these things are like, okay, I have to get my workout in no matter what. Actually, you really don't, because it's okay to take a break. You know that when you're giving your body more stress, the high alertness, it gets even stronger, right? So if you're already alert, so you are like starting a lunch or just finishing it, or you have like a deadline, you can slow down with your workouts. I want to give you this permission. It's actually your job. Not only I'm going to give you permission, I'm going to tell you it's your job to monitor yourself and see when it's time to take it easier with your workouts. The second thing, if you are tracking your food, your macros, your calories, take it easier. You don't always have to hit your macros 100% or hit your calories. Just relax a little bit. See, okay, what do I want? Okay, I have my guidelines. Me too. I have my guidelines. Yes, I want to eat a high protein diet. I want to eat regular meals. I want to eat mostly healthy diets. But I don't like stress about like, oh, I like missed 10 grams of protein per day. So you got to relax there too, because you have to understand you can do these things when you're strong and everything is going well in your life and everything is cool and smooth. Yeah, cool. But if it adds extra layer of stress to your current life, then don't worry about it. Take it a little bit easier. Now, pay attention. It doesn't mean that you're going to eat like a crazy person, like eat whatever the hell you want, like all the chocolates and sweet, because that's also going to increase your stress response, believe it or not. Because what it can do to your blood sugar is not great. It's going to skyrocket your blood sugar, which is a big stressor for the body. When the blood sugar is not balanced most of the time, of course it can't be flat and all the time balanced, but if you start getting huge fluctuations, that's also very stressful in the body. So try to keep your eating healthy, but don't worry about like every single detail about your diet. Then also let go of things like, okay, how many steps exactly did I get in? Basically it goes to the same place with a workout, right? So don't worry about these things. Like move because it's enjoyable. Move because you've been sitting on your computer, doing stuff for 5 hours now. Go and walk, but don't necessarily worry about the steps. Yeah, again, you can have gentle guidelines like, cool, I want to do like take 10,000 steps. That's my goal too per day. But then if it doesn't happen, if I'm like at 8,500 by the end of the evening and I'm really, really exhausted, I'm not going to necessarily go. Okay. Also, if you are somebody online who posts a lot, don't worry about if you got that social media post up or if I got all my emails answered or did I get back to every single text or call. It's okay to give yourself this permission, like be a little bit more like, I'm doing this stuff for myself. I can't be there for everybody all the time. I'm doing what I have to do, but the things that you don't have to do necessarily, let go of them when the times get a little more stressful, because it's such a simple way to let go of some stuff which, it does not serve you. So now we talk about what can you let go of, what can you stop doing. The other thing, what are the things that you can do in order to support your well-being, in order to feel better, in order to kind of center yourself and bring yourself back to balance, okay? Meditation is a big one. There is almost no day that I don't meditate. And I really recommend that you do that as well. It's just so calming. It's so centering. And if you say that your mind is like crazy, a monkey mind, that means that you especially you, have to do it, because you have to be able to bring yourself back to balance. You have to be able to focus and really ground yourself. There are so many different ways to meditate. You can just take 5 minutes and sit in stillness. You can take more time than that. If you could do 30 minutes, that would be absolutely amazing. But if you're a beginner, you don't have to do that long. The other option would be to do guided meditation. If you feel like your mind goes all over the place all the time, then guided meditation can be a really, really great way to still do it. So my favorite app is Insight Timer, and it's free. I think it's only free in the US though, because I've had clients in Europe and they say that they have to pay for it. But I'm sure there are other apps that are free. So find some guided meditations. There's everywhere. I think even YouTube, I'm pretty sure YouTube has, there must be guided meditations too. And find something, just make yourself sit down, get centered, get calm, listen to that voice through your earphones, and just be with it, be with yourself. A lot of good and great answers come to you when you're with yourself. They don't come to you when you're running around and responding emails that don't even need to be responded to, right? Okay, next thing, journaling. Really, really important and helpful. By the way, I'm giving you like a couple of things here, but you don't have to do them all. Just find what works for you. So journaling, getting your thoughts out. Honestly, one of the things that I did to start feeling better and get rid of my chronic pain was journaling, was writing, because I did this structured program which said that, okay, today we're talking about this. What was this traumatic experience you had? Have you ever talked about it? Boom, I'm going to write about it. What are the current stressors right now that are really making you go crazy and keep your nervous system on high alert? I'm going to write about them. So maybe it was somebody like, some bad situation with a friend, with a coworker, and you were like, I'm like really pissed and really angry, but I can't tell her. You're going to write it out. So you have to let your stress out, and it just makes you feel lighter. There's another great book. And by the way, the work that I did to heal my body from chronic pain was based on Dr. John Sarno's book. It's called The Mind Body Prescription. But also there is another great book. It is called Back in Control. And this is by Dr. David Hanscom. And his whole method is writing. So this guy, he's a surgeon. He's a doctor. And he said that he rarely performs any surgeries anymore because writing is so effective. So try it out, journaling. Take some time, set some time. I like to do it first thing in the morning. I know that if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I likely won't do it later. So first thing in the morning, great time. Just get the crap out. Get the crap out of your system, because otherwise it just keeps piling up and you're not going to feel well. Next thing, get in a car, drive somewhere. Just like let go. You don't even have to have like certain destination. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go to the store, whatever. Just go drive somewhere. Whatever it is, go enjoy some nature, or whatever it is. Just go do something that's different if you have been super, super stressed out. The other thing, touch the ground. It works really, really well. This is also one of the things that I do a lot personally. So a lot of times I do my meditation outside, and then I just take my shoes off and I just let my feet touch the ground, my hands touch the ground. And if I don't do that, then a lot of times actually I go in the evening before I go to bed, I go outside behind my house and I put my little blanket down, I take my shoes off again, feet on the ground. I'm just lying down on the ground for about 10-15 minutes and just sometimes staring at the stars. Extremely calming. And there's something about the ground that really does calm you. It's also called earthing. So whatever it is you want to touch, like the grass, the soil, sand, you can do it at the beach, water if it's natural water. My husband's lately super into gardening, so hands in the soil, whatever the thing is that puts you in contact with the earth, super calming. All right, then next thing, we talked about working out. And I want to say it again, instead of doing so many workouts, just focus on something that calms your body down. It's not that you cannot ever work out, but just feel, how am I feeling? Am I like super high alert all the time? Do I feel like this buzz going on all the time? And kind of like a little bit of this inner anxiety because I have so many things to do, so many calls to answer, so many texts to get back to, so many emails to respond to. You don't need to exercise on top of all that, but you can move. Or sometimes, you know what? You can just go and read a book instead. You gotta bring your nervous system down. You gotta calm down. You gotta give yourself this permission to rest and relax. Next couple of things, I just briefly mentioned the text and emails. Are they all necessary? Do you have to get back to them right now? And I don't think you have to. You can just leave them, leave them for tomorrow. It is okay. Emails, go through your email list. See even if you're getting some emails from places that you don't even want to get them. You're like, how did I don't know why I'm getting these emails. Click subscribe, unsubscribe, and you are off the list and you never have to see it again, especially if it's nothing that gives you value. But just like seeing this number of unread emails in your inbox, that alone can be triggering for your nervous system and cause you more stress. So unsubscribe, and then you don't have to respond to every single email right now, every single text right now. Turn these notifications off. And I mean, honestly, if you keep your notifications on your phone, I don't know how you get anything done. I personally don't. I mean, I see the text messages, but the Instagram, or I don't even have the Facebook Messenger app because it's just so distracting. And I know that every time the red dot would go on, I would be like, oh my goodness, what is it? I have to get back to it right now. And it would only add stress to my already stressed situation. So these are my tips for you today, and I hope it was helpful for you. If you are a more sensitive person, like I personally am, then especially then, a lot of people can be like, okay, yeah, I did this. It was hard, but I'm moving on. The next day, I'm doing the next thing. I cannot do it. I need like a day off. I need to almost completely unplug. Yesterday, I just took like 2 hours super casual bike ride, just going wherever and listening to a podcast and not worrying about things like, okay, like, is there emails? Are they like texts that I have to get back to? I should be working out hard. Yeah, you may say that this was a workout, but it really was like a stroll, just like strolling along the bay trail and just enjoying the weather and pausing and taking breaks to look at the views, look at the ocean and all that. So it's different. It's definitely not like workout. So think about it. How can you reduce some stress? And especially, like I said, if you've had some difficult childhood experiences, know that you are sensitive to that kind of stuff. Your hormones are more sensitive to that kind of stuff. And you got to figure out ways how to bring your hormones back to balance. And it starts with really taking some deep breaths, journaling, writing, and meditating. So this is all I got for you today. I hope it was at least a little bit helpful. Like I said, it was totally unscripted. I didn't have an exact plan what I'm going to say here, but I hope that it gave you a couple of things to think about, and you will feel better now, and you will feel like you have this permission to do nothing when you are stressed out. So that's all I got for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again soon. Bye.